So how long has it been, April?
Since we talked?
Yeah.
Have we talked since I moved into my house?
You just bought it.
So then it's been a year because I bought it August of last year.
Damn.
Yeah. And what do we December? A little over a year. Dang, Chris.
Come on, girl.
What kind of friend you are.
I know I'm horrible. I am horrible. I didn't quite dump you for Broedy, but we can get into that.
Yeah, low key you did. I was like, oh, okay, so he got a new video. Whatever.
It chose the white boy over me. And today we're talking. That's it. Today we're talking about diversity and inclusion misfits. So roll those credits. From Sydney, Australia, all the way to Portland, USA, two misfits hang out after class to riff on the B-sides of professional life. These are your professional misfits. Bam! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the way from Sydney, Australia, I'm your host, Christopher Sellers.
I'm from Portland, Oregon. I'm Broedy Ipox.
And we're your professional misfits, where we riff on the B-sides of professional life. And we brought in a third misfit. Say hi, April.
Hey, April.
Hey, April. So April's my girl from Tampa. And we met on LinkedIn. April Lewis, executive coach, keynote speaker, and workplace wellness expert. April, we're talking about diversity and inclusion in the workplace. So perhaps, as an introduction, can you give the misfits at home a bit of background on you, what you do, why you do, how you do, all that sort of thing?
What I do, how I do, why I do. Got it. What I do is help people hate their jobs a little bit less by focusing on their own wellness. So when they go inside work, they're not as negatively impacted if they're working in a toxic or stressful environment. Why I do it is because I know the pain and agony of life and life hurting you. And then you got to show up at work and deal with all the work things. And I know that pain intimately because of a great tragedy that I experienced in 2006 and still some kind of way made it through, went up the corporate ladder, all that good jazz. And I realized that there was essentially a hedge of protection around me where the bullshit didn't come my way because I was so focused on surviving and taking care of my mental, physical, and spiritual health that when I got to work, it wasn't a big deal. And so now I want to I do empower people and teach people how to focus on their mindset, their physical health, and the team dynamic so they can live well and ultimately work well.
Boom.
Yep,
there it is.
Drop.
And you're in Tampa, but you work with everyone across your great country, great state, the US of A. Beautiful. Broedy, I think we picked the right guest for today's topic.
I think so too. I'm just excited. I'm sitting over here like a little kid.
He's buckling in. All right, misfits. So it's season 3. It's episode 3. Today's topic is on diversity and inclusion. And basically, I want to ask, does it work? Like, what's the point? How has it become this really fascinating corporate cottage industry? And for a bit of backstory, April and I connected over a year ago. Over a year ago, and it was on like a mental health cause, and we actually formed our own little LinkedIn support group for mental health awareness and like a bi-weekly chat. Just get together, let's talk about it, let's discuss all the mental health things that we don't talk about. And basically stayed in touch since then, and here we are. And so when it came to this topic, I reached out to April. I said, would you be interested in coming on? And she's like, not really my jam. You know, I'm doing other things and I'm kind of tired of the corporate talk and like black people just want to be respected. And why is that so hard? And I'm like, baby, that's exactly what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So this is where we're going to go, misfits. We're going to crack this open because it seldom happens. But let's start with the simple things first. Diversity and inclusion. What is it? Like, how do we define it? Now, Broedy, I am pushing you under this bus, but I'm gonna go to you first because that's what a good co-host does. But here's for your fun fact, April. Chatting to Broedy yesterday, we're talking about this is coming up, and he's like, "Dude, I'm scared." I'm like, "Are you serious? Like everything we talked about is like little white boy in America, like talking about diversity and inclusion. Like he was biting his knuckles scared. I'm like,
Still am a little bit.
Interesting.
A little bit.
So this is
excellent.
So that's what we're here for. So Broedy, okay, how would you define it in your view?
Shit, and this is where pure honesty comes out. I've been kind of ignorant to that because the friends that I've had of color, it's never that. It's never about the color. It's never about the culture. It's just been, we're friends. I know you. You're another human being, right? Like that's it. So I've just kind of stayed away from either side of it because it seems to be so charged and so fucking controversial that it's messy no matter where you place it. So I don't like to go there in that sense. And for me, even now, I watch kind of like company initiatives here over in Oregon. Like you've got Intel and a couple things like that where they'll hire incentively based on color, ethnicity, where where you were born, if you're a man or female. And that shit reads weird to me. It just reads weird to me. So I don't necessarily know how to define it. I don't know what the initiatives are. I don't know what the intention is, because again, for me, we're all just humans. Like you and I have had this conversation about religion as well. I don't really at the end of the day give a shit what you believe. You're just another human being just the same as I am, and what you believe matters little unless you're shoving it down my throat, right? So I live and let live, and not to the sense that if it's something that's negative I wouldn't speak up about it, but yeah, my experience of it has been there isn't that lack of inclusion, right? The one of the black kids at my school growing up, he was one of the only ones, but he was friends with everybody. I mean, friends with everybody. And we all love the shit out of him. He's just a cool fucking kid. And that's all it was. He was just a cool fucking kid, right? That's all that fucking mattered. And so for me, that kind of side of it, I don't know. I don't know how to define it. I don't know what it looks like. To me, I hear a lot of company ramblings and like initiatives and incentives and shit like that. And that's what I guess my version of it would be. And to me, it just sounds kind of gimmicky.
I hear you. I would reason that like a lot of listeners of Misfits at home probably feel the same thing. And it feels like I'm not quite like, I get the principle. The means and the method is what we're probably going to talk about here. But in terms of does it work, all that sort of stuff, like kind of shrug, and they probably have the same sort of view. I'll give my opinion next, and then April will come to you because I've described my career as like 15 years of hopscotch between corporate and creative. Like there's been a lot, but the key example I guess I'll draw is working for state government, but it was designing skills-based assessments. So on the other side of the fence, where it's supposed to be a blind test of like, what skills do you want to test? I'll draft the brief and the scenario for this to be role played by candidates and assessors, right? So it shouldn't be, we're assessing communication skills, we're assessing conflict resolution, your ability to listen, your ability to empathize, these sorts of things. So it shouldn't really be subject to racial agenda profiling. You know, there's not those criteria, right? And so that's interesting. But for an interesting result in Sydney specifically, when it comes, this was for trains. So this is for recruiting for the train system, state train system over here. We have a high percentage of Indians, Pakistanis, Bengalis getting through, right? And working in the railways. And then so you'd have a lot of white candidates who, this fucked, you're just promoting all these people because they didn't get it. Right. You know what I mean? So somehow someone whose language, English is a second or third language, is more competent at, you know, whatever this role is than said white Australian. And so they think it's, you know, positive affirmation and diversity and inclusion and all this sort of shit. When really it's skills-based assessments. The added interesting fact to this is because in India, in countries like India, there's a certain status that comes with working on the railways. So it was a cultural thing. So you'd have more of this demographic applying for these sorts of roles. So of course, by percentages, they would move through the system, right? So I'm sort of in your camp as well, Broedy. Like I get the premise. I understand what you're talking about. But the means and the model and the method, I guess, is what we're going to discuss. So April, having had two straight, essentially white boys give their outsider's opinion of what the experience has been, give us your experience first, and whether you find it's effective or not, because that was your initial impression when I asked you to kind of talk about this subject.
Yeah. So let me start by saying the people that need to be talking about this stuff, they don't hop on podcasts at night and try to like racist people, sexist people, they're not going to try to make sense of it. So we already got to accept that we're in the group of people, Broedy, like you said, who just get, like, we're humans. And so, like, I really honor and appreciate that you were feeling some type of way, because I say this with all humility and love, having just met you. You should, because of all the noise that's been attached to it, right? You can release that knowing you've never done anything wrong. So you can release it. Like, it's cool. But the fact that you feel it just speaks volumes to your character that I've known every bit of now, 14 minutes, right? So the fact that you were feeling angst. I was having a feeling too, because I'm like, I know I'm different. Thank God. I know I'm not normal. I do not think normal. I don't move like the masses. If the masses go left, my direction is right, like flank right immediately, abort left, right? So I say that to say that even as I was preparing for this, I'm just like, and now I'm black AF. Don't get it twisted. I love everything about being black. I love my black skin. I love my black hair. I love my black nose. I love my black parents. I love my black everything. I also hate that I call myself black because I'm brown, right? So it's like, even the start of my shirt is black, my skin is brown. We are so far off with doing life and humanity that it's like, so the foundation is jacked up, and then we're trying to build upon a jacked up foundation to make it make sense for the purpose of diversity. It's diversity, equity, and inclusion. And some people have moved to what's the acronym JEDI, JEDI, for justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion.
Okay, sure.
Some people call it DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, which equity and inclusion is belonging. So, right, it's like, so what is it? Diversity is purely numbers. Do we have representation from multiple pools of people representing whatever, gender, socioeconomic? That's just pure numbers. Diversifying an organization is easy. If you got an organization of 200 plus people, how many men I have, how many women do I have, blacks, Asian, Hispanics, those are your numbers. If you got a mix, then you're diverse, right? Yeah. If you're too one-sided, then you're not diverse. Equity is, does everyone, regardless of their race, creed, nationality, sexual orientation, have access to the same resources? Or have we level set the playing field so it's even? That's equity. Inclusion. Have we created a psychologically safe enough environment to where everyone, regardless of their race, creed, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, feel like they belong here while they are in this space? The opposite of inclusion is exclusion. The problem is racist, sexist, ignorant folks, when they push people away and don't give them access to the same resources because the color of their skin or because of what private part they got in between their legs. Now we got to go through this game and try to create these models to force people to do it. But like I told someone who reached out to me for a webinar one time, there is no way, as great of a speaker as I am, can I stop a racist from being a racist in 60 minutes. Yes, I can say some things that may raise your awareness, have you look at it different, hopefully educate you, but that's spirit work that has to be done with you. You have to first know that you're off. You got to know, like, I am not treating people right. And on the basis of melanin, on the basis that they were born, like, that's so ignorant. And
sorry, I am laughing because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then if we go all the way back, do I get it? Yes, I get it. Because being born in this country with my skin, the systemic odds were against me because this country was built on the backs of my people when slavery came here, right? So it's not like it started out Gucci and just got bad. It started out as a complete shit show. So we recognize that we've made some strides. You know, the affirmative action, and we've done things to do it, and it is so much better. Like I'm sitting here talking to both of you. It's 2023. I'm sitting in my home inside my community where I have yet to see another African American person on my street. I feel perfectly
For real.
safe.
You're right.
Like for real. Like, you know, I'm unbothered. So I'm so grateful that I was born in this space. And I'm gonna be very honest and transparent. I'm so tired of hearing about this race stuff. It's exhausting because like I told Chris when he messaged me, if you got to talk about it, you already off.
Yep.
Like I never had to say, hey, white person at school, want to be my friend? You want to go play basketball? Like, why is your skin pink? We just kicked it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, first of all, thanks for the breakdown. That's super clear, super effective. Everyone listening at home can grab a hold of that immediately. Thank you. That makes perfect sense. So now, okay, let's cut right to it. I agree with all of that. I like I said to Broedy, like, isn't it fundamentally respect? Like regardless of gender, age, sexuality, anything, like respect, right? Like if you be respectful in a respectful way, I'll be respectful to you. We'll all get along. Like whether you like each other or not, it's sort of irregardless to the work. So at the principle, the root of this push, this wave of do good is respect humans.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Where and how has corporate like run with this thing to create this weird cultural, because the stuff I see on LinkedIn and the people who talk about it, it's so disconnected from real life. Like I don't quite get it. And more specifically to you, April, and I asked you this at the time, like, is it just white guilt? Is it white guilt of like, there must be, because the idea of, let's, black, white, male, female, 25% representation in everything everywhere is ridiculous and will never happen. Like, let's just swallow that for a moment, like in any industry.
Right.
Okay. So what's the end game?
The end game, from my perspective, if I to answer what would be the end game for April Lewis would be that those of us who understand that it is purely respect, because you are a human, because you are alive and we're sharing this planet together. I am not going to do you any harm. I am not going to not give you something, nor am I just going to give you something because I feel sorry for you for what my people did, right? So I would hope that the end game would be that we can see humans. And I am okay sounding 100% naive, sounding like a unicorn, sounding like everything, because how else are we going to get it right? We're different in so many ways. So if we can't even take it, if we can't get past face value, the skin, then how will you get to my mind, or how will you see my heart, or how will you see the kindness that's inside of me if you're stopped here, which is why it's so stupid. And even going back to like when Africans were enslaved, I wasn't there. We were not there. We do not, like, it's all this. It's tax reasons. It was land. It's all superficial power who got snatched up. We came over here and like, I get everything that came after there. White man took this superficial seat of power. They linked arms together and they demand, like, if you link arms with enough people, then you will become the majority, thus making everyone else the minority. It has nothing to do on your capabilities. It has nothing to do on your merit, your intellect, your skill set, your mindset, your wealth. You just lucked up and became the majority first. Like it could have been flipped any other way, but it wasn't. So that's the hand that we're dealt. So the end game has to be just stopping it. there are some people who will forever hate Black people. Our generation, I don't know like your ages, but we're not the problem. Like it's like people before us who were the problem, because like, and that's the problem. We sitting here, we're trying to fix systems that have been built 50 plus years ago inside the problem, and we want to be the solution. Whereas we could take that energy and just be the humans that we are and coexist. So where I feel you speak to where it really came and got all icky was after George Floyd got murdered. When George Floyd
That
got
recently, you think?
I think like the big boom, it's been a thing. Like it's not, it's always
Okay.
been there. There are some leaders who have, and I've talked to them, and they want to be very intentional with their hiring process to make sure that their organizations look like their communities, their organizations look like their clients and their patients. And I get all of that. But what I feel, and when a lot of people, for me, when I started feeling like it's very performative out here, was after George Floyd got murdered. Now, and it was crazy because I was in Minneapolis, and I was right there where he took his last breath, like literally standing in the spot. They got the communities blocked off. It's flowers and pictures. They have a meeting there, and because we saw what was already happening so vividly in our face, like people fell into a group. It was people that were already on fire for social justice and racial equity. They just amped up or kept doing what they were doing. The white people who were just like, yeah, we got to do better. We are the problem. Let's fix it. The Black people who were just like, I'm over it. I'm tired of this. I'm mad. You got every other race and of the ethnicities who split in each one of those buckets. They were either for equity before or they're not. So it really amplified it. And because it came such a big social movement, it got crazy on social media. So everyone saw it, and with the speed of the internet. So now corporations, as they should, like I think you should do the right thing, period. But as they should, from a corporate social responsibility standpoint, my people, my team is hurting some of my people. There is a global issue happening. I have to do something, because if not, I'm going to look like a horrible person. And
That's
it is
optics. No, that's something as well. So there's a difference between the inside of a culture, which arguably you work with, and the optics of how we appear because we've got X number of women on the board. Because I guess that's something I wanted to segue to as well. Because if we're we're specifically talking about Black culture here, but even that's why I wondered if it was so recent, because prior to that, there was a real push to push every executive woman we can get a hold of. Like, we need more women. We need more women represented on the board. We need more women in higher positions of leadership, in corporate. It doesn't seem to apply anywhere else. Like, not a lot of female bus drivers, but when it comes to white collar, it's like that seems to be the niche. And that's why, and I guess that's even something as simple as, should you apply for any sort of corporate job, and you have to go through any of those online portals. And for a lot of them now, they ask you, what's your sexual orientation? So not just like, what is your ethnicity and sort of everything else, like, what's your sexual orientation? And
it was just
right.
Like,
and
your job as a prostitute, why does that matter? And
I
even
would
as
precisely, but this is so gay, straight, bi, who I'm fucking on the weekend, like, is none of your business. But
literally.
But hilariously, if I want to give myself a better chance of being seen by a recruiter, why not tick bi? Why not tick gay? Why not tick as I identify as whatever else, to satisfy the diversity box and literally play the game disingenuously, but literally play the game? And again, what relevance does one's orientation have towards competence in any role?
Right.
Yeah, that's sort of my question.
I want to jump in here.
Please do.
It's kind of something that April said. It's like, none of that shit matters. I mean, like, if we're talking about competency here, it's how competent are you? It doesn't matter your skin color, it doesn't matter your religious beliefs, it doesn't matter your upbringing, your orientation. This shit's irrelevant, right? It's fucking irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. And I just want to cycle back just a little bit, because I feel like one of the big systemic problems, and for me it really clicked, it is the fact that there's a fucking spotlight on it all the time. Because look, this came from an issue from people that it was an issue fucking for, right? It's not an issue for me. It's not an issue for April. It's not an issue for you, Chris. I fucking see people for people. If we just stopped fucking talking about it, if it was just, that's the end. You're a fucking human being. I'm a fucking human being. And there doesn't need to be any fucking proposals or fucking initiatives for inclusion, because humans are fucking humans. And if this person wants this job, they're going to go for it. And if
all right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. We're all on the same page. We're all nice people. Here's where I guess I have to challenge. Here's where I have to challenge things, right? Because I often make the case, well, like how much of culture and diversity and inclusion is sort of, let's say, an antidote to something which is basically social intelligence. So to your point, April, like when white folk make the majority, everyone else is the minority. And it's not often an active choice of we will, exclude, oppress, and do all those sorts of things. If you have friends that think the same, act the same, go to the same school, you're going to be friends with people in your school and think people at other schools are sort of weird and strange, and there's a natural little barrier there that requires some work to get over. I had this specific conversation with a girl, with a woman once, who was saying, well, I was bullied by these girls at school and everything else because, sort of they were racist. It's like, well, was it because you were the one white girl who was a minority in a predominantly ethnic school? Because I had the opposite. Because I had a similar experience where I was sort of the brown kid in an all white school. And so unfortunately it was fucking shit for like 8-year-old Chris, but I was the most minority thing, right? To kids, to teachers, to other parents. Let's just stay here for a moment, right? So whether I liked it or not, the world around me viewed me as an outsider, whether I liked it or not.
Right.
And I had to adjust as only a child can. Okay. Now let's move the schoolyard and the classroom into a workplace. And you more or less have the same thing. You have social cultures, you have cliques, you have people that the tech bros all hang out together because they think and act like tech bros. The accounting girls all hang out together because they think and act, and so does advertising. These things happen where humans are socially engineered and we're social creatures, and there's power dynamics, and these things will happen simply by association. I think the difference is, for a lot of people who really champion the cause of D&I, is they insist that it's a strategic collaboration to oppress or keep people in or out or down or away, when that's not always the case. I can't accuse everyone in my white primary school of being just fucking racist and constantly asking me daily where I'm from, why do I sound like that, where am I from, why do you look like that, simply because I was the one brown kid in the school, right? They wouldn't accept my answer. I'm born here, I'm Australian. They wouldn't fucking accept it. But, so if you have hierarchical structures, or even if you walk into a workplace, for April's sake, if they're all men and they're all white and you're the one black chick, right? There's going to be some natural resistance and sort of a getting to know you, feeling each other out phase. So is diversity and inclusion like just like an awareness thing, or is it like the needle that pops this bubble? Because the worst thing for April Lewis stepping into that space, surely, is Janet and HR coming in and saying, you white men need to respect her because not April earning it on her own, but because the powers that be or someone in HR says these are the rules, and guilting and shaming someone into accepting something.
Well, that's what I mean. Stop fucking talking about it. April's here, bitch. Like, she's here.
Yeah, and Janet, I don't need you to introduce me. I'm good.
Well, that's
right. I want to react to make two reactions.
Yeah, please.
Broedy said that. The first one, is this something comment?
You're good. You're good.
I'm sorry. I know this camera play. What you were just saying is the logical why behind DEI.
The
The construct way back when, before our time, was a very much white supremacy construct. And then out of that, you make corporations. So if it started here, it's going to fall into the corporations.
Yep.
So what the corporation, like-minded, we're going to hire our own, we're going to do. But then it's like, you know what? Now we got affirmative action. We got these other things. So we got to keep going down and building out these jobs, these businesses, whatever. It slowly starts to diversify because of federal laws, because people started to wake up, because of the Martin Luther Kings of the world, right? Even the Mother Teresa's, like people who were speaking love. So, but the top still started here. And it keeps trickling down. It looks different, but some of that mindset is still attached at the top. The logical why behind DEI is to blow up that top construct, because we're no longer there. So we have to because it's not going to happen, because their souls and their spirits don't see us as humans. So in separate of you doing it in your own time and working on yourself and freeing yourself from that dark energy that you operate in, now we got to force you to do it by making it a policy and a procedure. And John Maxwell has a quote. I'll paraphrase. He basically says, when a company doesn't have the right culture, then they got to lean on policy and procedure. DEI is a strategic approach to help people human better. It's necessary because if not, them default back to that like mindset from which it came. Going back to, if I walk into a room with white men and the Janet come in, first off, I'm going to check her like a box. Because
yes, queen.
Right. Because any room that I'm in, I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Let me share a story with you to make that point so real. There's a leadership program called Leadership Tampa, and it happens in every city and every state. So there's the Leadership Tampa, Leadership Florida. I have been a member and I'm alumnus of Leadership Columbia, which is Columbia, South Carolina, and Leadership South Carolina. I've done leadership programs. So I'm new to Tampa. I don't know anyone here. I said, well, let me go down here and check out Leadership Tampa. It'll look good. I can make a social media post about it. People going to think I'm smart more, like blah, 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 blah. And, meet people I wouldn't typically meet. So I go down here. It's at the Chamber of Commerce. Typical thing, it's a 6 or 9 month program. Every month you learn something different about the city. So it'll be economics or, public transportation or, whatever. It's just different pieces, education, things of that nature. So it's a cool program to learn about the city in which you're in and network with like 49 other professionals. We're sitting in this room, and I would say it was probably 60 people. It was an interest meeting to learn about it before they started applications. We're sitting in this room, and it was like 60 people. Of those 60 people, I can confidently say less than 10 were minority. So it's cool, not unfamiliar. In my Leadership Columbia, Leadership South Carolina, it looked the same way. I'm cool with it. So I'm sitting in the front. They're going through the spiel. You should join. It's a great program, blah, 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 blah. Then they start to go into the cost of it. The cost of it is the same, ironically enough, as it was in South Carolina. The tuition is $5,000. So that was the slide. $5,000 to come in with the tuition is due once you get accepted. The reason I'm telling you this story is this. The very next slide after that was, but we have scholarships available. We have a minority scholarship, a Hispanic scholarship, and a public service scholarship. The way I cringed, like, you're laughing, but I cringed in sadness.
Okay.
I cringed in sadness because, first off, stop fucking looking at me and my people like we always need a handout. I cringed in sadness because my very brown self sitting in the front of this, I've done 2 of these, graduated both of them for. And at that moment, you made everyone in this room look at me and think about the fact that I may need y'all to let me get $5,000. I can sneeze and make $5,000.
Yeah.
So the minorities, the Hispanic, we got it. And then it was another for public service. I knew at that moment that I was not going to apply for this program. And I knew at that moment that I was 100% over it. Because although in universal law of duality, there's 2 sides to everything. There is nothing in this universe that's one-dimensional. So I get everything behind why we are and where we are. But over here, bruh, get off my back with it. If you just stop at my skin, I don't even want to share space with you. Because then you don't see me. I am more than my skin. My skin is the icing on the cake. My soul is who April Lewis is. Get to know her.
Yeah. Seems reasonable. Broedy, you were scared to talk about this.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Look,
again, for the misfits who don't know, sorry, just interrupt. I'm in Australia, so the American black-white dynamic is something that I observe. I understand. I understand and see how it plays, and I listen to these stories, but I don't live it, and it's not my culture. So that's why, number one, having April on was awesome, but you saying that you're actually scared to talk about it when we've talked about other, B-side things, that was interesting to me. I'm like, seriously, this of all things, but you were, please.
Well, look, because and I think exactly to my solution is like, and it's not shove it under the rug. It's seriously, it doesn't need a fucking spotlight anymore. We get it. We get it. People should be fucking treated as people. Like it's a simple concept that I feel everyone should resonate with. And the more that we act like definitively people aren't capable of doing that shit to me is like, you're servicing that side. You're servicing the motherfuckers that need coaching for that and they need the incentive to. You're still not fucking including people. If it's fucking incentive based, if there's a fucking initiative behind it, if it's a law, like, fuck you. Like, again, like April said, that's some shit on you. That's some shit on you. And I think the majority of people, and I may be wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the majority of people are in the same position that it's like, I'm just looking at you as a human being. That's it. And the more that someone talks about how you're different than me, the more that I feel like I have to look at that. And I don't want to look at our differences. I don't want to look at the things that separate us. So when you come to a space where that kind of emotional charge has been put behind the situation and you're so far distanced from it, like, it makes me worry that I'm going to say something or do something that might trigger a train of thought in the negative space. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that fucking guy. I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to
insensitive.
I don't want to be insensitive. And that's the thing. It's so tricky too, because when you operate in the space that I have, that it's like, you're a person, I'm a person. My whole family's like that. I cannot pinpoint a racist member of my family. It's just people, right? We just interact with people. It doesn't get talked about, right? We're not talking about it. We're not talking about how to include April. We're not talking about how she's already here. She's already included. She's already part of it. So
yeah, I mean, look, I'll say maybe. Like, we might have, sure, we're nice people. We might have the luxury of being accepting, but I don't know. Are we really? Because this isn't just limited to black or white and men and female. There's also like all my queer friends as well. So anyone could be sitting outside. Basically, anyone can be sitting outside any bubble and going, "Well, really?"
Right, and I'm happy that you said that, because oftentimes, which people make that mistake too, and because, again, the spotlight and the noise and the detriment, but Africans were not the only enslaved group of humans, and everyone knows that. And even when you're talking about it, it's easy, especially in America, to be black, white, male, female, and it's so much deeper than that. Because even diversity, like, there is neurodiversity, we got there's diversity of thinking, there's diversity of like everything. And and that's the part that's annoying me, like, I am a Black American, because that's the word they got to use to make sense of it or whatever. I am a woman. I'm also a veteran. I'm also born in the South. I'm also, an ex-athlete. Like, I got all of these statistics, but, oh, you Black, you may need extra help, or, oh, I need to go join this Black X thing. Like, even something that I'm a professional speaker. The National Speakers Association has a Black Speakers Association.
Shut the fuck. Oh.
Sorry. Really?
Sorry.
Would not have assumed.
Right. And that, I don't know. I don't know the history of it. I know it's a thing. For me, I first, if it's gonna be Black people watching this, and some of them might be mad, I get it. Like, rock on, have a good night, rest. But I just cannot operate in that anger like that. I don't need you to separate me to include me. I am a speaker. Like, years ago, you had to be told, like, I don't have to drink out of that water fountain. I can drink out the same water fountain. We're not
What,
there anymore.
what about
Right.
what about the flip side of culture, which is what I mentioned in my very first anecdote? It's like, has April ever not gotten the gig, or not gotten the job, or not gotten paid, or got treated professionally in a way, and your first instinct was like, it's because I'm black, because the white girl got it and I didn't?
Not April. I've never been denied. When I remember when I was looking for jobs, I applied
Yep.
for several jobs. Some of them could have not hired me because I was black. Some of them could have not hired me. I don't care.
All right.
It wasn't in your peripheral.
It wasn't in my, and nor I have never been called the N-word by
Okay.
a non-black person, right?
Okay.
I have never sat inside of a boardroom or anything and did not feel respected. I have never been disrespected by someone outside and I damn sure ain't never felt like somebody took something from me, because I'm on the side like, you can't take anything from me. Whatever God got for me, I'm going to get it. And whatever I need to work for to get, it's going to be done. And I also do not want your handout. When I shared that same story about Leadership Tampa to my friend, he's a African-American male in DC, and his response was like, nah, fuck that. I want all their money. But what they granddaddy did to my granddad. And I'm like, bro, I ain't even know my granddaddy.
Here is something that I do want to talk about, because yes, it's the notion, diversity and inclusion. There's a lot of parallels as well with sort of the woke culture and trying to do right by everyone. You know, so it was sort of funny when you said like D, E, and I is now D, E, and J, and all this sort of thing. It sort of reminds me of L, B, Q, T, Q, blah, 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 blah. And all my, like, I come from the arts, so all my queer friends are like, it's queer. Like, whatever, you're queer, great. Like, move on. There's no fucking labels here. But I think, and this goes to what you were saying, Broedy, as well, is like, there's this impression of this sphere of culture, is that it's a sacred cow that cannot be touched. Like, you cannot question it. Like, D&I is the best move, the most moral move, and you can't question its effectiveness or its purpose. And the same with woke and you're not allowed to question it. You're not allowed to question the black experience, or ask questions about it. And that's dangerous and ignorant. And I had this conversation with Nick, funnily enough, of all people, because he was talking about the black experience and what people's sort of black culture, and whether they find they're censoring themselves. Like, will you walk out into the street and like take the do-rag off? Or like, if you're walking around with cornrows, you're a little bit more susceptible. Like, do black folks internalize their own blackness for the sake of, you know, the culture around them, for instance? And I remember messaging him specifically and saying, hey, this is really cool conversation. Like, I know I'm not a part of it, but I'd love to support you in whatever research that you're doing. And one of the things I mentioned to him when it came, and he sort of gave me permission to ask, I felt like I needed permission from the inside to talk about black culture. Is that, look, I want to support you. And I want to support the black experience. I want to support my queer friends. I want to support all of you guys. Part of me understanding your motives and your cause is asking questions, because I want to understand like April's experience. I want to understand Nick's experience. I want to understand my queer friends' experience and like what that means, how it's impacted you, because this is how humans empathize. Like, you'll ask questions, you'll get some insight. You reflect that, shit, April's life is not too dissimilar to mine because I've gone through some things. We suddenly empathize, and April's a human, and Brody's a human, and, you know, my queer friends who fuck different genders, they're human too. How about that? They go through a heartbreak. What are the fucking odds? But the point is, by asking questions and critiquing certain things, I get insight, I get knowledge, and then I can be an actual ally. When for a lot of diversity, inclusion, and all of these sort of motives and cultures,
I love that.
Yeah,
be an actual ally. I'm not forced.
Right. Well, or there's the insistence that you cannot question. You must just support us in the way that we
and question,
tell you to.
Yeah.
So you need to be a sheep follower. It's like, well, is that really what you want? Do you want a fickle, I totally support, whatever it is the cause is today and we should, da 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 da, or do you want someone who's informed and rational,
die on a hill for you,
and more emotionally engaged in the actual cause, because I know where you're coming from and what you're talking about. And there's this real, to what you were saying, Broedy, there's this real fourth wall of, if you're not in the minority, you're the problem. Anyone who's white, cis, het, male is the problem because you're the patriarchy in the institution. It's like, no, we include us so we can, and ask questions so we can help. Or if we are ignorant, that's why I'm asking questions, because I want to learn. Like, but by shutting me out to say that you've had your turn, you can't play our game, is exactly the same problem, isn't it? April, yeah. I'm going to throw this to you.
Yeah, it is. And again, to go back to how I started the conversation, people who need to talk about this need to talk. We're not the ones that we talk about it because it's so like, why are we here for us? Like, and so it's every person that is put forth their blood, sweat, and tears for DEI. I understand why they did. I understand. My hope and desire is that we can get so much deeper connected to who we are as beings that it's just a variable. It's and I know like that I can't get away from that piece, because like I said before, if we don't, then we'll stay in the differences, when, just like you said, Chris, we have more in common. All of us have had our heart broken. All of us have gone through hard times. All of us have come through the womb of a woman. We have a mother, we have a father, whether they present or not, either one of them. We got so much in common. And how can we leverage that to make this world better? And not even like, damn the world, just make the office better. If we here at work to do work, to fulfill a mission, to achieve whatever KPI we trying to do, let's just get it done. Why do you need to not give me access to what I need because of the color of my skin? Or why do you feel like you have to because of the color of my skin? Can we work because of the mission of the organization, for the success of the organization, so the organization can remain financially viable, so we can get paid every other week and keep it pushing?
Do you think that'll ever happen in a workshop?
In a workshop?
Come on, but like that's the point, because that's what D and I do. I'll come in, I'll do a half-day session. I'll do a half-day session with your executive team. Boom, solved. You're all diversified now.
People are doing it in a lot of ways. There are cheap. There are some workshops, webinars, there are courses, there are certifications, there are chief diversity offers. It's all the things. What I will say, everything matters and nothing matters at the same time, right?
It sounds like us. We'll talk about everything and solve nothing. Yeah.
Yes, like it's a seed that can be dropped, and all we can really do is hope for the best. But am I going to sit back here and be like, aha, now X company has a DEI committee, they're going to treat me kind? If you were going to shit on me, you were going to do it before, during, and after your DEI committee.
Yeah.
Now, DEI committee, do your work. So again, go back to the equity. If everyone at a certain rank is going to get paid a certain amount, have access to professional development, if the promotion, but that's organization. That's not even race, but people who don't think, like, it's just so, like, we all are saying the same thing, and I feel that because we're here, we're talking about this. The necessity of it is for people who need it, not people like us. And what we have to do is just not, like, Broedy, even what you're saying, like, stop shining the light on it. We don't know if that day is going to come, but even as the light continue to shine on it, like, just do all that you can to not be annoyed by that light. So the love that you got in your heart for people doesn't go out because you're over it. Because I have to do the same for me. Like, I got to keep hearing it, and I don't want to hear it. And I've seen what happened to my people. I've seen it's bad stuff that happened to white people. It's bad stuff that happened to our Australian brothers and sisters, our Hispanic, Latinx, our Asian. Hello. Like, everybody has gone through it. And so we just got to hope for the best. Because honestly, it's not going anywhere, because it's too many. We're in a multi-generational workforce. And every generation is bringing in their belief system and their values. And in the absence of having the love of each other as human beings, we have to default to policy, procedures, and practices to make it work.
Mic drop. Broedy?
No, I mean, that was well said. Well said, right? And it
Told you we had the right guest.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I think resonates with me in this current moment is that you know, not to end on a bad note, because this has been a fucking amazing conversation.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. We shouldn't need the courses. We shouldn't need the fucking diversity officers. We shouldn't need it. You know, we're all misfits, right? We're all different. We've all got something funky that we're hiding from somebody, or, you know, it's just, we are who we are. And if we can accept that and move in that way, I think we're a little better off.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll end with this anecdote, just because you said we didn't need it. If we dial back to the schoolyard, right? And I don't know, I want to go get some equipment from the gym to play in the playground. And all the other boys are playing with the tennis balls and no one will let me play. And it takes one teacher to kind of pull them aside and go, not cool. How would it feel for you? Blah, 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 blah. Share. And then we all sort of get along. I couldn't have done that on my own. I got into fights because they wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, because there was more of them. They didn't have to. I understand now it's a power trip, like, but it took someone with authority from the outside to go, hey, yo, not cool. We all share here. We all get along. We're all equal, blah, blah. So.
But can't we be that authority for ourselves?
Well, no. Okay. Yes, as adults, perhaps, all right. But I still think if we drill down to the root, of the principle and of the good that it can do, rather than just dismissing it and saying we don't need it, because that also assumes that we all grew up the right way. And guaranteed, even when I was a kid, that, you know, I used to pick on my younger brother and had to get pulled aside and go, the fuck you doing? Just because you're bigger and stronger doesn't mean you can bully him. And I go, you're right. So there are some lessons here, and those lessons can apply equally to gender and to anything, basically. But to your point, one would hope by the time we reach adolescence and adulthood and a professional functioning adults, we've developed some sort of empathy for ourselves. So this ongoing conversation and, you know, training probably isn't required. But again, that's why I brought up this anecdote in the first place. Like, what would happen to Chris if he was just bullied for 6 years of primary school and didn't get to play with anyone? And then that would carry on into high school and further on. And what would happen to those kids thinking that it was okay to do that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree. Like, it's for the people who need it, it's absolutely necessary. Because if not, we would still, white supremacy would still be, had we not had all the people before us, like, nope, no, you should not do that. You shouldn't. Woman, you can go get a job. Other people can come in our country and live here. You know, it's just, so it was necessary. Where the seat I sit in is, can we, like, again, it's necessary. And my hope will remain that we don't have to do it, because people will see that we are all human and we need each other. And even in that humanity, we don't have to be kumbaya. We don't all have to, if there are some people we're not going to like. So if you don't like me, cool, do me no harm.
Yeah. We had this conversation in episode 1, as a matter of fact, because we're discussing whether popularity matters. Yeah. And there's this discussion of popularity or respect. And precisely to your point, like, you can be respected and not liked.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's human as well.
Yes.
All right. But go back and watch episode 1, folks. That's April. Thanks. That's a nice little place to wrap up. Miss Lewis, thank you so much for being here and making the time.
Thank you for having me.
If Misfits want to find you as a national speaker, as a black woman national speaker,
You
if they need their diversity hire for their conference.
No, it's so funny. No, I don't do diversity work. I have people. No, I do. I have amazing people that are highly skilled and capable, and they will I got people that can talk about anti-racism. God did not call me to do all of that. I want to help you keep your mind right so you can get your life right. So wherever you are, you're good. But if you want to connect with me, you can find me at aprillewis.com. You can get to my email, my calendar, and all my social sites from that website. So if I can be of service and, if I can do anything for any of your listeners, not just around wellness, but in life, period. Because in my mind, we're making this thing too complicated and it's just not that deep. Like there's always going to be pain and suffering and agony, right? Got that. But can we not create it and cause it just for the sake of creating and causing it?
Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. Broedy, this has been episode 3. Nice place to wrap up. Episode 4. You know what I'm going to ask? Do you know what's coming up next?
I want to say it's the interval.
Interval's at 5. Come on now. Amateur hour. Take a drink every time.
I'm going to pull the run sheet every single episode from here
and you say that every season. So take a drink every time Broedy doesn't know what's coming up next. So episode 4, we're going to talk about drugs, misfits. Ooh. Drugs are bad and everybody does them. So let's get into it.
Drugs or weed? Do y'all classify weed as
it's and it's okay if I do it, but my kids don't do it. No. So we're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna get into all of that, all those double standards, and I'm gonna get to be the moral high ground because I don't do any of it. So all of y'all are sinning, all of y'all are drinking and smoking, and I'm the most pure, holy motherfucker on the planet. I'm gonna get hit by a bus. On that note, Miss Lewis, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. In the meantime, Misfits, you know where to find us. YouTube, Spotify. If you want 15% off until January 31st, you go to Camp Misfit. All the professional services, all the things, go to Camp Misfit. So promisfitspodcast.com. Check it out. In the meantime, I've been Chris.
I've been Broedy.
She's been April. And we'll see you next time, Misfits. You stay classy, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ciao.